Troub's Alley, a novel by Sally Champlin. Chapter 1. Troub. There's good garbage and there's bad garbage. It takes a connoisseur to know the difference. Troub went through 2 cans and found the good garbage. A couple half-drunk cans of Coors and some beef jerky. Breakfast. He'd have to share it with the old Tom that was wandering between his legs, but he thought that was cool. A friend in need, don't you know? Troub settled down in one corner of his alley, a cardboard box filled with newspapers, a couple butts cadged from the gutter. It was a prime Sunday morning. Eddie woke up with his heart beating to hell and gone in his chest. Had another nightmare. His dad had killed his mom with a butcher knife and was coming after him, and his feet were stuck in something that felt like slow cement. He always woke up just before the knife hit. Shit. At least today's excuse was that he was going to study math with Liz. That meant he didn't have to sit around with his father pretending they were buddies. That guy didn't care. He had a dim memory of his mom looking good sometime when he was really young, before his real dad had run off with some bimbo. They were living in the country then. Now they lived in the city, and he'd just turned 14. But he felt like he was 50 after one of his nightmares. He got up and immediately brushed his teeth. Nightmares gave him woolly teeth. Face it, Eddie, you're weird. Johnny. Top of the 9th. It was up to him. He let 2 of them go by, cool as a cucumber. The crowd was going crazy, and he almost lost it from the pressure. Then, like those movies that slowed down at point of impact, he saw his ball coming. He slowly swung and hit a bruiser over the fence like a bat out of left field. The crowd stood and roared. He was Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron. He was Johnny Forsythe with a heart condition waking up to another excruciating Sunday. Johnny sat up and shivered, bathed in sweat again. He rushed to the shower. He didn't want his mom to see the sweat like last Sunday when she kept him in bed the whole goddamn day. But Monday after school, he'd play ball again, and he'd feel good, even if he did play secretly. He saw his zitty twin brother, Emmett, looking at him as he grabbed his mitt and headed for the bathroom. Johnny pointed at Emmett with an angry finger. You say shit about sweat to her and I'll kill you. Emmett covered his mouth with his hand and shook his head. Emmett whispered behind his hand, Don't say shit, Johnny. Mom will really kill you. No, she won't. She'll just put me to bed again, so don't say shit, Emmett. Johnny paused at the bathroom door and watched his wimpy brothers start making their beds. Emmett better be trained or he'd kill him for that, too. Johnny heard his mother humming some idiot hymn down in the kitchen. He turned the shower on full blast, drowning her out. Emmett, making the beds again. Why couldn't Johnny be asked to do anything around the house? Heart condition my patootie. Johnny's just got our mom by the tail and that's it. Why couldn't I be that special? Serious illness, my patootie. Emmett tried to figure out what he wanted to do today, but he couldn't. Emmett's as good looking as Johnny, except for Emmett's acne. Emmett knew he wasn't eating right, but he still couldn't stop thinking of those Twinkies he'd hidden in the bottom drawer in the kitchen behind his mom's old curling iron. Twinkies and TV. There was a Three Stooges marathon on that day, but he couldn't remember when it started or which channel. He wondered if his mom would be bothered by the noise of the TV if he kept it really low. Wouldn't miss Curly for anything. Lizbeth. If he hits me one more time, he did. I'm too little for this. He hit her again, and then he got instantly bored. It was no fun hitting someone who wouldn't even whimper. That was Liz's ace in the hole. She just went limp and let him do it. Didn't hurt after a while, and she knew he'd quit soon. He did, as usual. Her hatred grew because he was so predictable. He stalked out of her room. She knew that as soon as he really noticed that she was looking more like a young woman and less like a kid, she'd be in real trouble. Right now, though, she was still just 13. She wondered if any other kids wished they'd never grow up as hard as she did every day. Well, he hadn't noticed her differently yet, thank God. She knew she had to get out, and she didn't know how to do that, not yet. At least she knew when she was studying with Eddie today, her father would leave her alone. He never liked witnesses. Liz tried to think just what it was that ticked him off this time and knew it was a futile search. He'd use anything as an excuse. He just enjoyed it. But why did her mother stick around and take it year after year? She couldn't figure that out. Did her mother love him? Oh, bull. There was something else going on with them, and she didn't care to know what it was anymore. She was just waiting for the moment when she came up with a surefire way to get out. She'd been trying hard to be an A student, but now she was thinking she might not last till some mythical scholarship came through from some mythical college. There was no love lost between Lisbeth and her folks. She'd learned how few rights she had a couple of years before when she saw the smirk on that social worker's face. The social worker had told her that she had both parents at home and was adequately supported financially, and she was powerless. Well, that's how she felt. But soon, oh soon, even if it means bolting from their ugly 2-level apartment some midnight with a small bundle in her hand, she didn't care anymore. She brightened up at the thought of Eddie's coming over and quietly got a bowl from the kitchen, filled it up with cold water and ice, got a washcloth from the linen closet, and went back to her room, gently closing the door behind her. She started soaking her swelling face and longed for someone who just plain loved her, someone as well as Eddie. Troub. He sat in his cardboard home and he burped, pulled out his old harmonica. Pretty soon he'd have to cadge a new one from somewhere, God knows where. He made no never mind about that, things turned up. He enjoyed some old Gershwin and a little porter most evenings, although porter paled on him after a while. Usually ended up playing a simple blues. Blues last a lifetime, Troub always said. Troub stopped playing, stared at a wall, and thought for a bit. Been a while since he'd talked to anyone of any interest. He looked at the old Tom curled in his lap. Troub gave him the last of the jerky, and then he played. Something's coming, I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. West Side Story, Mr. Right? Brilliant. Yep. Pretty soon now, Troub could feel a journey building in his old dancer's bones.